Thanks to these guys for the suggestion. Load up Ghost of Tsushima. Start a new game. Welcome to Tsushima, currently being invaded because the Mongols have decided it looks like a great place to rest their feet. You are Jin Sakai, leader of the Sakai clan, and along with your uncle and 78 other samurai are looking at this invasion like, what the f do we do about this then? You send one of your soldiers down to try and scare them away, but he gets set on fire and his head chopped off, which isn't exactly the intimidation you were going for. In response, you guys are like, hell nah, that's disrespectful as f, and charge in to teach them a lesson until your 80 samurai is just you and your uncle. You find the Mongol leader who turned your mate into a Fantastic Four member, but before you can introduce him to the edge of your katana, you're introduced to his exploding fireballs of doom. You're not dead, but getting a Mongol grenade to the shins isn't exactly good for you, so your uncle gets captured and you get double tapped. Your uncle must be an important dude, because the leader Khotun, he's the grandson of Genghis Khan, by the way. He's saying that like it makes him special. Didn't Genghis Khan have like 1,000 kids? Anyway, the leader Genghis 1001 is like, would you like to surrender for me? And Lord Uncle is like, so he knocks him out. Back to you, you're not dead. It would be a bad game if you were. You wake up on the hillside of a village bandaged up, and despite having a few questions like who the f put you here and how you're walking after receiving a generous 2 arrows to your 6th and 7th vertebrae, go on an Easter egg hunt for your stuff. Your armor's in this house, but your weapon should be on the side of a milk carton because it's missing. Instead, there's a random woman who is the reason you're not cosplaying as a hedgehog on the battlefield. Before you can ask for the whereabouts of your missing sword, a Mongol guy comes in for some rice. She's like, oh no, please don't hurt me. The rice is in that cupboard along with my knife. Then she takes you to find your sword over some rooftops because she sold it for drugs. Apparently this means she's a thief because she knows a bit of parkour. On the way, she tells you Lord Uncle is alive. He was taken to Castle Canada, but that's not why she resed you. She actually needs your help. Anyway, you find your sword, have a flashback to when you were a kid and Lord Uncle taught you how to float like a butterfly, kill like a fucking grizzly bear, and after that brief reminder on how to put your sword to good use. Oh look, a way to put your sword to good use. On your way out of the village, you save a guy, and Yuna is like, could you do that again, but with my brother? That's the reason why she dragged you off the battlefield. Then you find some horses and pick one like it's a starter in Pokemon before going to Castle Canada and challenging Genghis 1001 to a cinematic 1v1 in the rain in an attempt to take back Lord Uncle. Given that he's been leading the invasion onto the island, he puts up a pretty solid fight. He throws you off a bridge. Not saving Lord Uncle reminds you of the time your dad was like, you fucking help, please. Samurai dad shouldn't be asking his 14-year-old son for help anyway, like, get good. You went to his funeral and Lord Uncle was like, rest in peace and shit, here, take his sword, leaving you as the leader of the Sakai clan before you've even worked out how to speak to girls. You wash up on the shore still breathing despite getting some work experience as an asteroid and find Yuna who's like, my brother's a pretty sick blacksmith, he can make you a tool to get you into the castle. That's enough to get your sword tingling, so you meet her at a fishing village of which she has learned that the Mongols took some prisoners up to a camp. While surveying the camp, Yuna is like, we have to go in quiet. We go in loud and honorable. No, we go in quiet. Okay, let's do this. Loud and honorably. No! In case you weren't aware, samurai tend to have a code of honor. Lord Uncle instilled this into you over many years, always facing opponents head on. Never mind, you're a sneaky scoundrel. I'm gonna let you have fun assassinating people for a minute. Hey! I just want to say thanks to all you Patreon members. Your money will go on to support all my various addictions. To those of you that want to help the channel without using Patreon, a simple like and a subscribe and a whisper in your friend's ear about how cool Northern Bob is goes a long way. Seriously, the engagement on the videos helps. Do it. Do it now! With your new ability to assassinate, you find the hostages, who's actually just a guy in a straw hat. He does tell you that they moved some prisoners to a place called Azamo Bay, though. Then it cuts to Genghis 1001, who's speaking to Lord Uncle. Can you tell your people to stop resisting? They're really hurting my men. My people will resist you like flying types resist ground. Was that a Pokemon reference? It was. Oh my gosh, what's your favorite game? Anything past Generation 3 is hogwash. You take that back! Meanwhile, you're meeting Yuna at a friend's house whose job is to sneak you into Azamo Bay inside his sake delivery. When you're inside, you find the guy in charge, follow him around the camp like a little stalker until you overhear him going, the blacksmith ain't blacksmithing, let me go fix that, but the only thing that was fixed was his death certificate. Or something like that. He's dead, basically. Taka the blacksmith collected. Having someone who can bang together a convenient way into the castle is great, but in order to release Lord Uncle from the confines of his Genghis prison, you have to assemble what I can only describe as the Japanese Avengers. But, you know, war-torn country, they have their own shit going on. First is Sensei Ishikawa. He has a student who's gone rogue, teaching the Mongols his way of the bow. After that, it's Lady Masako, who has family problems. The problem being they're all fucking dead. And finally, the leader of the Straw Hats, Luffy. No, I mean the other Straw Hats. A good mate of yours, Ryuzo. Just gonna throw this out there. His entire character arc is that him and his friends are hungry. I'm not even joking. Every decision he makes is based off how he hasn't had breakfast. With that, you go get the special tool from Taka, and you're pretty much ready to save Lord Uncle, who's currently talking to Genghis 1001. Your nephew is like a traitorous friend to my men. He keeps stabbing them in the back. Genghis 1001 ends up leaving to go take over Lord Uncle's castle to, like, assert dominance or something. And thanks to Yuna and your Ezio impressions, people have started calling you the Ghost, which sounds cool as fuck and is a big part of the game. I mean, it's literally the name of the game. But some people aren't on board with it. My guess is they're just jealous. Meanwhile, before you can go and save Lord Uncle, Ryuzo stops by because his men have been captured, and they can't help you with the rescue mission from inside a cage. On the way to the camp, Ryuzo brings up his inferiority complex because you beat him in a tournament one time and how it definitely won't affect the story later on. Anyway, you free his men from the camp, and he's like, I'll meet you at the castle, but on the day is a no-show. Like, bro, stop copying my dad. You carry on with the plan because you've still got everyone else and make your way through the castle, but just before you reach the main keep, you find Ryuzo waiting for you. Remember when I said he's a hungry boy? Genghis 1001 put a bounty on your head, and he's like... that hungry bastard. He's like Garfield, but with a sword. You have a rematch, and like that tournament, you give him the equivalent of the old 1-2, but with a katana, then try to convince him to stop what he's doing. He's just like... which makes enough noise to let everyone know you're here. The betrayal from the hungry hippo aside, you go collect Lord Uncle and retake the castle. 2 days later, Genghis 1001 is at Lord Uncle's castle like the big bad wolf going, little pigs, let me in. Oh, and he's with the hungry hippo, who of course is like... but Genghis wants him to burn these hostages so they'll open the gate, and Hungry Hippo looks traumatized while he's doing it, which brings me great pleasure. Also, rip this guy because they open the gate straight after he's burned to death. So Lord Uncle is back in the ring. He's not very happy about your stealthy antics, even though it's the reason he's sitting comfortably in a castle surrounded by servants, and is like, you can't continue down this path. Bro, what are you, Google Maps? I'll go down whatever path I want. You go on a ride with him and retake a lighthouse to let Genghis 1001 know, we on our way, little man. I'm sure he's shitting himself. Next job is retaking Lord Uncle's castle. You just need some bodies. Yuna suggests speaking to the people of Yarikawa, but he's like, oh yeah, they don't like me after I dealt with their rebellion. And she's like, oh, I know. I grew up there. This bit. After that awkward interaction, you're like, Yuna has great admiration for you, Lord Uncle. It's a shame they didn't train social cues at samurai school. Lord Uncle sends you to find a pirate to take his request for reinforcements back to Japan, but the Mongols have practically taken the ocean hostage. You and Lord Uncle create a distraction by attacking a nearby base to help pirate guy escape, and with reinforcements ready to be delivered within 5 business days, Lord Uncle is like, I want you to be my son. I'm adopting you. So yeah, Lord Uncle, now Lord Dad. About time someone wanted to have me as a son, to be honest. By the way, him adopting you makes you his heir, so you'll become the leader of Tsushima. Or what's left of it, at least. Then he's like, go recruit those peasant people from earlier and get your dad's armor. You look like shit. So if you remember that awkward conversation between Lord Dad and Yuna about recruiting the Yarikawians, yeah, we're doing that. However, their village is surrounded by Mongols, and while you're assembling an army to fight Mongols, having Mongols in the way isn't good. Since Yuna and Taka grew up here, they show you a sneaky way into the village, and you're about to be taken to the man in charge, but the Mongol leader outside is like, it's been a really long day. Can you let us in? It's cold out here. No. After that, you find Yarikawa Man. That makes him sound like a superhero. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Yarikawa Man. Cheers, so you're the ghost. You best be careful. I know Lord Daddy won't be happy about that. You offer to deal with the Mongols outside in exchange for helping Lord Dad, and he's like, fuck no. Taka lets you know that some archers left to fight the Mongols, but they've gone missing, and bringing them back might convince Yarikawa Man to help Lord Dad. He also just invites himself along, even though his profession is making swords, not swinging them around. He almost gets eaten by a bear, and after finally tracking down the archers, nearly gets eaten by a Mongol. But he survives. Just about. Yuna is slightly worried about sending her brother into danger, but like, get over it, he's a big boy. Now that Yarikawa has their crowd of Legolasses, all that's left is to wait for the Mongols to rudely smash through the wall. So you and Yuna kill some time getting absolutely rat-assed, because as the saying goes, every good battle is fought both on the battlefield and on the toilet. Not sure if that's quite right, but it'll do. With your help, the Yarikawians fight off the Mongols, you unlock a new special move and give a speech. The fight that we fought today was one of the best darn fights I've ever foughted. Really moving stuff. It gets Yarikawa on your side, which is a win. Then it cuts to Genghis 1001 with that hungry little bastard. Jin Sakai killed one of my best generals. Do you ever actually talk? Where is that even coming from? I already gave you food. Next, you go back to your village to get your dad's armor. A big deal, since the last time you saw it in use was when Dad became dead. This old lady, who I'm guessing is like the family servant or some bullshit, is still here. Oh, young master, is that you? Yeah, I go by the Ghost now. It's pretty cool. Ah, you're just like your father. He's one of those too. Because he's fucking dead. You go visit Dad's grave, then pick up his armor where you have a flashback to his death, and you're like, I hope they wash this. Before you leave, you ask Granny to show you her secret recipe for poison that she uses on rats, because you're about to prep that shit for human trials, then go find Lord Dad. You'd think after completing enough quests to make walking into Mordor look like a massage with a happy ending that you're finally going to take back Lord Dad's castle. I'm sure you can tell by my tone of voice where I'm going with this. Lord Dad intercepted plans for the hungry hippo, telling him to hit your army with some backshots, and since he's your mate, it's your fucking problem. They're set up at a fort, and you go under cover of darkness to scout it out, but are interrupted by Taka, who thought after one day of nearly getting killed by Mongols and bears had the facilities to help you out. You tell him to distract the Mongols and lead them away on his horse while you go into the fort to find the hungry hippo. Although you'd expect round 2 of your little rivalry, the only round you get is a wooden sword around your head. When you wake up, you're tied to a pole with fucking Taka because he thought the Mongols had caught you, and instead of telling Lord Dad, decided to go on one man's quest to blacksmith everyone to death. What was he thinking? Genghis 1001 tries to convince you to join him, but honestly, he needs to learn the art of conversion. Bring me a crumpet and some tea, not tie me to a pole in the cold. Yeah, it doesn't work, so he turns to Taka, gives him your sword, and tells him to kill you in exchange for his freedom. But what Genghis 1001 doesn't realize is he's messing with Taka the blacksmith. Oh. Yeah, that could have gone better. As if being tied to a pole without crumpets or tea was bad enough, Taka will no longer be blacksmithing. Or living. You manage to free yourself and kill the remaining straw hats, but Yuna comes looking for her brother. I don't suppose you want to get some food after this, do you? After burying Taka, you return to Lord Dad's camp where reinforcements from the mainland have arrived, and all that's left to do is finally evict Genghis 1001 from the castle. And the island. And life. You launch a siege on the walls and make your way through the castle. There's a bit where you use some of that poison to kill some Mongols and then chop their leader's head off just as Lord Dad comes through the gate. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I was just clearing the way. We are samurai. We face our enemies with honor. Suit yourself. I want to live. You push the Mongols back to the main castle keep, but it was a tactical retreat to get Lord Dad's army onto the bridge because they actually planned to send flaming horses across the bridge that explode and kill everyone. Lord Dad, being the tactical magician that he is like, we'll repair the bridge and do the exact same thing again in the morning. I don't know if he knows what construction people are like, but doing a job in less than a day is more unlikely than this plan working on the second attempt. You try to tell him, hey, maybe we don't need to end an entire lineage of people just to cross a bridge, but he's not having it, as made clear by the fact that he's willing to lay a crisp backhand across your face. So you wait until the darkness comes in, sneak into the castle to add your own special sauce to their drinks. No, not that kind of sauce, I meant poison. Eventually they drink it and become the opposite of alive, leaving you free to confront Genghis 1001. Only he's not here, it's just starving Steve. Where is Genghis 1001? So he rode north, I see. And he left you here to collect my head. But before we fight, you have one thing you'd like to say. You don't think Northern Bob is funny? Take that back! In all seriousness, though, he tries to defect back to your side, but you can't trust that he won't stab you in the back for a Kit Kat, so you do the right thing and put a hole in that bottomless stomach of his, and he dies. Outside, Lord Dad sees how you sorted out the Mongols and is not a happy chappy. Listen, I understand tradition, but why is this man willing to sacrifice his family just to have intense eye contact with his enemy before he fights them? To be fair, pretty sad scene. He wants you to denounce the ghost, become his son, and put the blame on Yuna, but you lean into that shit like it's been your dream job since you were a kid, and you can see that broke him. Sad Lord Dad. I guess he's not Lord Dad anymore, he's... Oh my god, he's just Lord Shimura now. How disappointing. Yuna takes your sword and runs while you're taken prisoner for the crime of getting shit done. Until Yuna's mate Kenji, who's the guy that put you in his sake delivery that one time, helps you break out. Although you make it to your horse, he gets Skyrimmed, and while you escape, Horsey ends up carking it. It is just one heartbreak after another. Thanks to Horsey's sacrifice, you're near where Kenji said Yuna would wait for you, but it's been overrun with Mongols, and while searching for her, you come across some dead villagers that were killed with poison that is suspiciously similar to your poison. I'm guessing some Mongol scientists found one of your victims and reverse engineered that shit. Point is, you're hit with an arrow that has poison. Things are not looking good, Brev, but Yuna comes to the rescue and gets you to safety. You're like, the only way this ends is with killing Genghis 1001. Like, yeah, no shit. Apparently he's at Port Izumi, so you need an army, starting with a new horse after yours got too well acquainted with the head of an arrow. Then you evict some Mongols from a pagoda, because what's theirs is yours, and what's yours is also yours. And with the help of some of Yuna's thief/hunter friends, overthrow a fort to reunite with the Japanese Avengers and begin planning the final battle. I hope it is the final one. I can't mentally cope with losing another horsey. You and Yuna scout out Port Izumi to identify any potential bugs in their code that you can abuse, but also find barrels of the poisonous flowers that Genghis 1001 plans to use in his invasion of the mainland. It's a shame the only thing getting invaded will be his bottom. With my sword. Eventually, after looking at the waves and realizing the angular wetness of the aquatic reef top means there's a storm on the way, you decide that would be a good time to invade his bottom while he can't run away. You also sneak back into Lord Shimura's castle to leave a note about your plans, hoping that he'll show up and help, and not just immediately arrest you so he can fight Genghis 1001 with enough eye contact to spark some sexual tension. Lord Shimura, you're a poopy, stinky butthole, but please help with Genghis 1001. Kisses! The time has come to attack Genghis 1001. Along with the Japanese Avengers, you break through his defenses and climb a tower to figure out where he's hiding, where you also see that Lord Shimura has made an appearance. Whether it's to arrest you or kill Genghis 1001, we're not entirely sure yet, but you find Genghis 1001 waiting for you.
All these people have died because you and Lord Uncle wouldn't surrender.
He's not Lord Uncle anymore.
Oh yeah, he said he was going to adopt you. All these people have died because you and Lord Dad wouldn't surrender.
Wrong again, he disowned me.
Shit. I had no idea. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's not the first time I've lost a dad. So once again, you have a cinematic 1v1 in the snow this time. And lucky for you, there's no bridges for him to throw you off. Without that advantage, he gets hurt real bad and has to retreat to his boat. But I guess he forgot you also had legs, so you just follow him. It's not a 1v1 now, though, since his cronies are helping him out. Honestly, the most surprising thing for me was how he let a guy who walks like this nearly take over the island. But no more, you removed his head. Sometime after the battle, Yuna tells you that Lord Shimura sent you a message asking to meet at your house. After your behavior, the Shogun, who is basically just President Japan, has disbanded your clan. So you're not a samurai, and your house will go to another samurai, so you're also homeless. Together, you go pay respects at Dad's grave, then Lord Shimura challenges you to a 1v1 because President Japan has branded you a traitor. I like to make jokes, but this is actually pretty sad. You have a flashback to when you were young, and Lord Shimura told you he'd make you the strongest warrior of the Sakai clan, and it's fair to say he did. You win the fight and you're left with the choice of killing him or letting him live. In the interest of having some emotional turmoil in Ghost of Tsushima 2, you let him live because it'll make for good lore.